I want to take this time to thank everybody for their support of myself, Mark, and the music and mental health movement. Please take this time to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you. Let's have a conversation. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? So, first and foremost, I hope everyone's having a great evening. Now, I wanted to talk about a topic that was based on something NBA player Giannis Antetokounmpo said a few days ago. I actually meant to come on here maybe the day after he said it and make this live, but I never ended up doing so. But here I am. I'm doing it now. So I am going to play the clip for y'all first, and then I'm going to talk about my thoughts about the clip after I play it. Here we go.
Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize that it was going to start at that point of the clip. So, just to give some context to those who have not seen this, or maybe you don't even watch the NBA, what happened was this guy's team was the number one seeded team in the Eastern Conference. They went against the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference, which was the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks took them out, and I believe it was 5 or 6 games. I can't remember. Might have been 5, might have been 6. That's inconsequential. Basically, the last team to make the playoffs in the East beat the first place team in the East, which was the Bucks, the team that had championship aspirations, got taken out by the team that basically just got in on the back of the bus, right? So this reporter asked Giannis, who is the leader of the team. He's won a championship before and a finals MVP. And I think he's won a couple of regular season MVPs. So he's the best player on the highest ranked or the highest seeded team in the Eastern Conference. And he's the leader of the team. So the guy asked him, do you consider this season a failure? Which I consider a pretty standard question, to be quite honest. But when you're asked certain questions in the heat of a moment, you just lost a playoff series and you just got upset and you're just coming off the court and you have media obligations, I realize how it can look or sound much worse than it is. But this was him responding to the reporter asking him if his season is a failure.
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, No, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it. You know, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championship. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn. Some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball. You know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures. No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. You know, I sorry that I didn't want to make it personal.
So Giannis makes some interesting points in that little rant that he went on as a response. Like he said, do you get a promotion every year at your job? So is everything that you do a failure? Failure in sports is not just about winning or losing. So they they've put this everywhere actually at this point. People who don't even watch sports, this became like this viral clip for everybody. Everybody's been talking about it. I watched, excuse me, I watched the Inside the NBA crew give their opinions on it, which is Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq. And basically, Charles and Ernie and Kenny all seemed to agree with what he was saying here. And it was just like, yes. Charles Barkley gave a story about, his upbringing, his poor upbringing. He wasn't expected to get to where he was. And he's like, he got out of poverty. He helped his mother, he helped his family get out of poverty. And he's, one of the best NBA players who has ever played in the NBA. And he was like, I'm one of the most successful men in the United States, period. And yeah, I mean, he's pretty much right. I consider him a big success story. I consider all those guys a big success story. So Shaq says something kind of different. Shaq chimed in and he was basically saying, you're measured on a different barometer when you are a superstar. So he's like, absolutely, you are a success for making it into the league, for being one of the best players in the NBA, for getting your MVP, all that stuff. But success in the NBA for somebody of that stature is different than success for the average person, and that's the way they're measured. And I actually agree with both sides of the coin. And I know that I'm not even trying to do that because I will take a stance. When I have a stance, I take a stance. It's just that as I've heard different arguments about the sentiments of Giannis, I see both sides of the coin. Because on one hand, if I'm somebody who comes from Greece, I guess he came from Greece, and to like a Greek and Nigerian parents, and he made such an impact over where he was over there, made it to the NBA, succeeded at the highest level, got a couple of MVP trophies. He's now an NBA champion. He won the championship, I think, a couple of years ago. He won a finals MVP. Even if he had not won a championship or a finals MVP, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. He's utterly dominant on the court. He seems to be well liked and well respected off the court. You know, he got all his brothers into the NBA. He takes care of his family. You know, from all accounts that we've heard, he's a good dad. Um, he is successful in many ways. But here's the thing. He's comparing succeeding in the NBA and getting a championship in the NBA to getting a promotion at work. Do you get a promotion at work every year? That's what he said. And it was basically like, so if you don't get a promotion at work, does that mean that all the work that you have done is a failure? Well, the thing is, the reporter did not say, "Are you a failure?" As far as I remember. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I thought the reporter said, "Do you consider the season a failure?" And I think that that is two different things. I think that if the reporter said to him, "Hey, Giannis, do you consider yourself a failure because the team did not win the NBA championship this year or because the team got out in the first round?" Then I could fully understand the rant. I could fully understand the rant if somebody said that, because then I would be like, okay, how am I a failure? You know, I am a perennial all-star. I'm always on the all NBA team. I've led the league in scoring before. I'm an absolute dominant monster. Make all the all-star games. One of the most popular players. I have one of the highest contracts, you know. Um, no, I'm not a failure, you know. I'm a big success. But the other thing is like to say, is your team, do you consider the season a failure? Now, the season, whether it's a success or failure for a team of that stature and a player of that stature, you're the top player, not necessarily the top player in the NBA. That's debatable. Some would say he is, some would say it's LeBron, some would say it's Kevin Durant, some would say it's Steph Curry. But he's undebatably a current top 5 player in the NBA, and he had a great season, and his team finished first in the East. So because of that, because of him being who he is and his team finishing where they finished, and the fact that they've already won a championship before, the expectations are high for the team. And this is a question that has been asked. I've heard it asked to LeBron. I've heard it asked to Kobe. I've heard it asked to many of the greats. Many of the greats. We could go back. Matter of fact, I could probably even find a quote or two. Give me a second. I'm still here though. But I could probably find a quote or two. Because I do have a point. If I don't find it, yeah, anyways, I might find it another time. Okay, I actually found what I was looking for.
Characterize the season?
Well, I mean, the goal was to win a championship.
Kobe, you won the MVP, you led the team to the finals. How do you characterize the season?
Well, I mean, the goal was to win a championship. You know, it wasn't to win MVP or anything like that. It was to win a championship. So, from that aspect, we failed.
Kobe, you won the MVP, you led the team.
So I mean, that person did not directly ask Kobe if he failed, but I've seen Kobe ask that question. I've seen LeBron James ask that question, and their answers are usually the goal every season is to win a championship. If I didn't win a championship, the season was a failure. Now, if we try to translate what he said to a work setting about a promotion, I have a really hard time making that parallel. Like, my job pays me way less than Giannis's job. You know, I don't know what his contract is at this point. Let me look it up. It's probably like 40, 50 million a year. I know he just signed a mega extension. So he signed a 5-year, $228 million contract. Guaranteed with an average salary of 45 million a year. Sheesh. Anyways. Yeah, the thing about it is when you get into something like that, like being in the NBA, feel like it puts you way out of touch in a sense because whether you succeed at your job, whether you fail at your job, whether the media criticizes you, whether you get put on memes by fans, whether, you know, people laugh at you, it's like you still make ridiculous amounts of money, fail or succeed. The only thing that you have to do to continue to make your money is show up, work hard, you know, show up to practice, follow the NBA policies, and you could be like Bradley Beal. You could be sitting on a team that just never wins. And, you know, as long as you do your job, put up your numbers, you get that money regardless, and you will get a promotion, period. You know, like if Giannis does not win again, he's still going to get mega contracts every single year, every single time he's eligible, up until the time when he can't physically perform. As long as he can put his numbers up, win or lose, he's going to get his money. Listen, we're not scrutinized the same as obviously a celebrity because people don't know us like that, you know? So if I'm failing at my job or if I didn't reach the numbers that I'm supposed to be reaching for my job, there's not gonna be random people laughing about it, memes and media interview. I'm not gonna have a media interview that I have to do. None of that. That's different. However, the job itself is more pressure and pays less money. I mean, not pressure like, you know, the pressure of performing in sports in front of people. I know that's a certain type of pressure, but I mean like the pressure of the everyday man, like being out in the world. And let's say you're pulling in like a $50,000 salary, right? And they're like, I'm gonna give you $50,000, and you have to produce uh 500,000 for the company for me to give you this $50,000 salary, and there's going to be punishments if you don't reach this 500,000, right? So quarterly or annually or monthly, companies give you audits, and during the audits, your supervisor or your quality assurance department or whoever it is that delivers that to you tells you, are you meeting these metrics or not? You know, we had this expectation for you to generate this much money or this much leads or have this many members, clients, whatever the case is, and they'll put your numbers up on the board. If you're not reaching those numbers, they're threatening you, or they're telling you like you're not performing, or you might not get your bonus. And you could be working hard. You could be working hard. You could be doing everything that's asked of you, and it just doesn't happen, right? And you don't get your bonus, and you could get fired on top of that. These guys, like Giannis, are getting these huge guaranteed contracts, and the money is continually going up, win or lose. So they're not measured on the same type of metrics that we are measured on. So I do understand the point that he's trying to make. He says there's more to life in sports than just winning or losing. And this is true. I wouldn't consider Giannis a loser if he had never won a championship or if he never wins another one. The guy is a winning player. You put the right players, he's a one-man wrecking crew. Like, you put the right players around him, and the NBA has to be a certain way. That's the other thing. In my lifetime, the NBA has not really been like anybody can win a championship any year type of thing. There's always usually a dominant team or a couple of teams that are dominant, and a lot of teams don't win championships because of them. The Miami Heat are not one of them. They underachieved. Let's just be real. The Bucks underachieved this year. That's just the bottom line with that. But the point is, I watched the Bulls win 6 out of whatever it was 8 years, and then the Rockets won back-to-back the years that Michael Jordan was retired. The Spurs and Lakers went back and forth for a number of years. There were random wins in between. Detroit won 1. I think Miami originally, not the Miami team with LeBron and Bosh, but I think the Miami team with Shaq, they won 1 randomly. Milwaukee's was random. Milwaukee's win was random. So yeah, maybe the media does go up harshly when it comes to sports figures, but the thing is, there's truth to what Shaq was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. There's truth to what Shaq was saying. When you are known as somebody who succeeds at the highest level or has a supreme amount of talent, more is expected from you. And I can say that from personal experience. I can give you a funny example, and I'm going to close with this one. I remember when I was probably high school, and I had this ability to not pay attention for a whole semester when it came to the stuff that I needed to know for my either midterm exam or final exam. Then when I knew the exam was coming up, I would just cram the whole book and just read everything and go through everything in 1 or 2 nights. And I had an ability for 1 or 2 nights of what should have taken me months to study to be able to, at least in my short-term memory bank, retain the information long enough to get me a B on the test. And I was actually proud of this. I'm like, I'm so smart that I don't have to listen. And then I can just read the book for hours for 1 or 2 days and get out of there with a B, which a lot of people could not do. So I remember one day I brought that B home to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I got this B. And my mom was like, "Oh, nice." I mean, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was just like an unenthusiastic, "That's okay. I'm not I'm not really impressed with the B that you got." So I was upset. And I told her, "Mom, a lot of parents would be happy that their kids brought home this B." I was like, "I don't understand why it is that I bring home a B, which is a good grade, and you are not enthusiastically celebrating me for getting this B." And my mom was like, "Well, I have something to say about that. If you worked as hard as you possibly could, you did all the studying that you could do, you maxed out your studying, you took very good notes, you're very diligent with everything, and that B is the best you can do, and you could tell me the B is the absolute best that you could have done, let me know, and I will celebrate you just like the other parents celebrate their kids who get Bs. If not, the B is an okay grade because you could have done more." And that put the onus on me. And honestly and truthfully, I knew that I didn't work as hard as I could to get that B. And I, of course, therefore was not going to claim that. I was not going to claim that I worked as hard as I could to get that B. I knew that I did not. And that has been a characteristic of my life as well, is that anywhere I go, anything I do, people see me and expect more from me. What they think is a success for somebody else, they don't think of as a success for me because they think I am capable of more. It's like the Peter Pan saying. I mean, not Peter Pan, I just watched that. Not Peter Pan. Spider-Man. I was thinking Peter, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. With great talent comes great expectation. And that's the position Giannis is in. I think people made it into a much deeper thing than it is, but it's an interesting discussion point that I just wanted to drop some of my thoughts about. And that's it for the night. I appreciate y'all for hopping on. Shout out to the replay crew. And I hope everybody has a great night. Make sure, I'm going to put my little video on at the end of this. But yeah, I'm just going to close off with have a wonderful night. We'll talk again soon. I want to take this time to thank everybody for their support of myself, Mark, and the music and mental health movement. Please take this time to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.